Well, the sun's up and we've had this roof done now for 2 days, and we had the snow come in last night. You can see a little bit still left up there, but we got the roof finished and watertight. The only thing I haven't put on is the rake metal, which goes over these corners, but looks pretty darn good and tight. One of the best roofs I've ever put on in the shortest period of time. With the help of Alien Allen, everything's perfectly, I mean, it's just a very high quality roof product. Very happy with it. So, we're now ready to get going underneath here, maybe blocking off some sections and loading this with wood. But the first thing we have to do is bring the grade up about a foot. And also been designing this entire back area, which is going to have a retaining wall here that curves up to this road I'm on. And we'll have another retaining wall with a huge food area right here, which sits up above where the snow falls off. So that's gonna, we have the block on site. My neighbor bought some and hasn't used it for years, so we're gonna be using that. And so we'll have a retaining wall around this grow area, which already has an apple in it, and a retaining wall around that area. And these retaining walls, ooh, it's getting squishy, are also going to be over here to keep this up and to keep this bed up. So that's a huge project for the spring. When we're putting these retaining walls in here, we're also going to be putting a huge French drain here, because this area gets saturated and we want to drain out all that water. We're also going to be putting a detachable gutter system that goes underground and takes all the rainwater out to the main orchard. And this is going to give us 20,000 additional gallons in that orchard every year. Which is, it took me 5 years to think of that, but that's why we're taking it slow. So that we don't get overwhelmed and we don't make the wrong decision. So just a quick update. What else can I show you? Leah might get mad if I show you the chicks, because she's going to want to do that video. But we are in Pagosa Springs, Thanksgiving, and we still got kales that I'm feeding the chicken out here growing. And I still have some seed saving to do here. This fern leaf dill, an abundance of seed, and those needed to dry out. Give you a quick look at some dill seed. And so we're going to have an abundance of dill next year here. Fern leaf dill, which is really a nice dill. So also, trying to set up live streaming on Rumble. In order to do that, you don't just turn on live streaming. You got to get a streaming service. So I'm looking into those now. I'm considering StreamYard, as there are so many to choose from, and then we'll use that to stream on Rumble. In the meantime, I can still do some uncensored updates that I'll just put up like a regular video over at Rumble, so we can talk about some controversial topics like we like to do. And I'm showing you some of the last load of wood that we got. Some real big logs. And I'll also show you what's happening in our front geothermal greenhouse. What happens at the end of November is the temperature gets so low, the average temperature starts to get to 17 in the morning here. Well, we had a 14 day. And when it's 14 out, keeping 20 degrees in this greenhouse is just about all we do. So it hits around 34 degrees. And on that night, well, the tomatoes get hammered. So if we can go in here slowly, I can show you some of that cold damage. Now there's still plenty of fruit on here, so we can pick that off and ripen it inside. But as a whole, once these start to get hit like this, the plants start to die. And within the next few weeks, almost all of these tomatoes will be dead. The barrage looks fine, unfettered. The rosemary is flowering, which brings the pollinators in here when it's warm out. And we have an abundance of celery. which I'm going to be putting in our stuffing for Thanksgiving. That's some of our, well, look at that stalk of celery. That's a 2.5 footer. So we're going to be using this in my celery this year. And parsley, flat leaf parsley does great in cold weather. You see some of our chilies, they're actually drying on the vine. But you can see the cherry tomatoes that are close to the glazing, those got hit the worst. And the tomatoes we have in here near the water, those aren't hurt at all. And those are some, because of friends of the channel, you know who you are. These are some of the Cherokee purples you gave us. And we've got these slugs on here, which you got to really watch for, or else they'll start eating the tomato. So see how he just did that? So I picked that off. Hopefully we can get a couple more Cherokee purples before the end of the season. And that's the state of this upper greenhouse. The earth tube heated geothermal greenhouse is a little bit more resilient. We have a lot of succulents in there, and it's a zone 9. So we're keeping that a little warmer. It hasn't gone below 40 in there, 42. Maybe once. Hope you got something out of the video. Beautiful day here in Pagosa country. I can't wait to take a ride into town to check out the Continental Divide. But I think it's clear enough that we could probably walk to get a view here. See if we can see it. I don't think it's cloudy over there still. Just visiting with my neighbors. Wishing each other happy Thanksgiving. Gave them some honey. Just great neighbors. Nicest people. Couldn't ask for better neighbors, and that's right over there. So typically we got a nice view of the divide here. It is cloudy, but I can see that it is quite snowy up there. What do you think, Graham? She just wants me to throw a ball. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. Be safe. We love you. Happy Thanksgiving. Be thankful for what you have.